Hopefully you've all checked out the new website. Christy, who's our webmaster, has completely redesigned the website for us, so please check that out. Listen to David's projects and how all the planning that goes into this. I hope you guys can understand how critical it is for you to register as soon as possible. It really helps us a lot. If you don't know, you must do that online. If you don't have online access, talk to one of us and we'll help you out. But the registration is online. Just because you came back to me and gave me a check this morning doesn't mean you're registered yet. You still have to go online and do your registration because that updates all your contact information. When you go through the registration this year, what's new and different and will work for most of you, we're finding a couple computer systems doesn't work on, but you can do electronic signature on your medical release and if you're a driver on your driver's application. So for most of you, when you do your registration, you should be able to fill out your registration part, you should be able to do your medical release and do electronic signature, you should be able to do your driver's app if you're a driver, do electronic signature, and then that all emails to us and you're done other than making your payments. Some of you like Chuck will get it to me 3 times, but that's okay. 3 times is better than none. So,
I didn't know it was going.
that's right. It is something new, so it's, for some of you, that's why I'm making a comment. It's a little different when you go through it because you can do the whole thing and you're done. So it's great. So please do that. If you haven't sent that in yet, I do have hard copies with me today, so please see me and I'll give you a hard copy, and that works as well. If you have trouble doing the electronic signature, then just print it out and send it to us. The address is at the bottom. On the cost, this year it is $9.75 if we're buying the airline ticket for you and $6.50 if we're not. As we've said before, don't let cost be an obstacle to going. It's interesting, just this morning I got a note from a young man who wanted to go and was talking to his church, but he wasn't going to be able to go because he had lost his job, and a lot of us can identify with that, and his church is scholarshiping him, So God will provide. You just have to have a little faith and pray about it. Other guys like Charlie, I use Charlie every year. I pick on Charlie. I do the Charlie Brown fundraising technique, and that is you talk to the people you work with and your friends. And the great thing for Charlie is I get like a dozen checks from people supporting Charlie. Now it's a pain for me because we have to put them all individually in the accounting system because they're all new people. But it works for Charlie. It's great. It's a great way to do it. And not only that, what's really cool about that is all of a sudden Charlie has 12 people praying for him when he's on the trip that he wouldn't have had otherwise. And then we do scholarships. If you need a scholarship, come and talk to me. I will warn you, if you talk to some of the leadership, that's great about scholarships. Please come and tell me, because what happens more often than not is you talk to one of them and they forget to tell me. And I don't know. So since I'm the one running the books, please come and talk to me if you have scholarship needs. If you are buying your own airline ticket, okay, you must be there on the start day of your trip, which would be either the 10th or the 19th, before 4 p.m. And you must leave after 4 p.m. on the last day, the 17th or the 26th, whatever is appropriate, okay, so that you don't miss us. Because if you come in after 4 p.m. on the start day, you may have to find your own way to Del Rio because we may have already left. So if you're making your airfare reservations, please take that into consideration. Before 4 p.m. arrival, and then on the last day, leaving roughly 4 p.m. or after to leave. On the payments, we have something new this year on the website. We did put a way to pay by credit card. I have to tell you, we've done that because for some people it's just the way it has to happen for them. It costs us about $30, in fees to use a credit card. So if you can pay me by check, please, 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 I will always take a check mailed to me over a credit card any day, anytime. That is our preference. If that doesn't work, and you need to use a credit card, then that is there and you can do that. And we'll make that happen as well. First payment is due today or as soon as you register. So please get that in as soon as you can. Like I said before, registrations, please do it soon. We really step out in faith. Understand, when we go on a scout trip, and David talked about the projects and things we're doing, we call these people and we make commitments to them. Kind of on a step of faith that someone's going to register. Because if you don't register and go with us, then we don't have the manpower, to complete the projects. In Acuna, we're doing 2 churches and a house. Okay? That's a lot. And so to keep my heart pumping and all of us pumping, register sooner rather than later, so that we know that we have the workforce, the guys there with us to make it happen. Remind you again, too, because it's not been said yet, if you don't have a passport, this is what one of the border crossing guards told us. We said, what happens if you go over without a passport? And he said, well, you're an American citizen, so you have a right to return to America. I'm not saying how long it might take you to get back. Okay? So yeah, you will get back, but it might take you a while. The other thing is on the website, and I'm not going to talk about today, it will be working probably within a week, is the packing list. Once you've registered, you can go back in and sign in, with your username or email address and your password, which is your birth date, and it'll give you a list of some things that you can look at. One of those items is a packing list. So particularly for the rookies, I encourage you to go look at that, because we provide your shirts and your packing bag and a lot of those things. It'll be detailed on there. It talks about what to take, how to prepare. So I encourage you, give us a week or so to get that working, but take a look at the packing list, and that'll help you there with those questions. Anything I haven't answered for anybody?
You might want to mention, Bob, that if they do register online and they check the box that we're buying their airfare, that they're responsible.
Yes, and actually I'm going to put it another way. Your registration is unconfirmed until we receive your first payment and I have your medical release. Okay, for a couple of reasons. In the past, we've bought airline tickets, we've had bags embroidered with your name on it, and we bought shirts to have people that had said, we're going, but I just don't have the money right now. And then at the last minute, they cancel us. And some people have been so kind as to honor buying the ticket that we bought for them, and some have not. But we're in a position where we can't afford just to have that happen. And so I'm a true believer that people, if you really want to go, then there has to be some buy-in on your part. And if you can't put the whole $325 down or whatever, talk to us. We'll work those things out. But we can't buy airline tickets, and you aren't registered for the trip until we have that. And the other thing is our insurance company has said to us, you have to have those releases beforehand. You can't show up the day to get on the airplane and sign a release and give it to us because it's not valid. Okay? And so those things all need to be taken care of beforehand. Same thing on the driver's application. If you're a driver, we have to submit that to our insurance company, and they'll kick it back. Who was it was talking about? Well, that was this morning. Mark Easter was talking about the number of tickets he got. If you got a number of tickets, actually there's a guy in Idaho where he got 2 tickets in one day. Okay? So we have to submit that information to our insurance company, and if you've got a certain amount of record, you're not going to be a driver. But we have to take care of all that beforehand, so help us out.